What I'm trying to work on is thinking about the difference between sex and race within biopolitical modernity. Maybe if there's a simple way to say what I'm doing, it's like, how can I say that something is like this but not the same as this? You know, how are trans and not trans racializations of bodies related and similar but not the same thing? I think the thing that is still underrepresented is trans of color issues. I think this is part of what I'll be talking about, you know, is resisting that easy progress narrative, because trans is only better for some people, and it's still, you know, to be trans is still to be caught up in the machinery of how our bodies are sorted and classified into hierarchies that unequally distribute life chances. The historical shift that's happened, I think, is that for the first time ever, it's possible for some people to be trans without a huge social penalty. But that what we're seeing is that the trans population, you know, people who, you know, live under the sign of transgender, it's like that population is being split. If you remember in Gail Rubin's Thinking Sex, she sets up this, she calls, like, you know, these moral sex hierarchies where you can see over time something moving from being clearly, you know, disparaged, stigmatized, and despised to being contested, to sort of like moving towards good. Being gay used to be bad, then it was sort of, there was struggle going on over it, and now for many gay people, it's like, yeah, you know, it's no big, right? And so trans has been following a similar trajectory, that until quite recently, it was clearly on the, there wasn't a good, respectable, normative way to be a trans person. To be trans, you were clearly on the side of the transgressive, the suspect, the stigmatized, the marginalized, and that what has happened in the last few years is that for some trans people, it's a totally acceptable thing to be, even progressive, right? But not for everyone. It's like, it's that, like, the trans category is being split increasingly into those trans people who are good trans people and those trans people who are, you know, the ones who are still marked for lesser opportunities for life. So that's what I think is fascinating in the mass media, is all of a sudden you've got this new hypervisibility around transness, but that I think it's a kind of a veneer over the fissures in the community, you know, and it's even popular at some level to say such trans progress, except, you know, trans of color issues, you know, that that it's moved to the point of being marked in a token way.